to you, they're going to be chattering about their plans in your ears, but all you're going to be able to hear is your own heartbeat up here, because these guys get super nervous. But who can remain calm? Only time will tell. Let's head back over to the casters to take us in to our first attack. Let's do this!
As the first attack is getting ready, remember, it's elimination on the line. And can it be a 3-star? The Root Riders to start with the Giant Arrow and 3 Earthquakes. Planning to try to snipe that Town Hall possibly with the Giant Arrow of that Queen, but he's going with the Royal Champion to start with an invis to the outside to reroute that RC into the Ricochet Cannon and even into this Poison Spell Tower.
Good value looking here for the Royal Champion. Meow led us off 2 times yesterday with Super Yetis, but both were fails, so deciding to change it up and go with those Root Riders, which we've seen having great success here today. Gonna go ahead and just actually weaken up the base. Ooh. And then go ahead and throw in a Quake. Gets the Poison Tower out, which that's an amazing pickup. But one thing I've noticed is the XIBAI team, they are so favored to this Troop Launcher instead of, or the Log Launcher instead of the Troop Launcher that we see a lot of times.
Wow, okay. This is the Log Launcher moving right on through. And a lot of times we typically see the Log Launcher trying to go towards the Town Hall, line up some defenses, but this trick is being used on the core of the base, taking out that value, poisoning the Clan Castle that has come out, Rocket Loon's moving through, and Yeti's trying to help assist to take out that Crusher Mortar. The defensive Minion Prince is doing a lot of work there. The Giant can't even tank or take it out, but the Overgrowth through the Town Hall as the Queen and some Roots are continuing to try to path eventually through this Giga Bomb, which will do quite a bit of damage. Ooh. But he's got the Warden Eternal Tome still.
Giant barely gets that Crusher Mortar down. That Log Launcher did pick up the Monolith, which allowed that Giant from the action figure to go ahead and get that Crusher Mortar. He did actually commit quite a bit using an invisibility spell, so he wanted to make sure to get that Crusher Mortar out so he doesn't have it remaining on the back end. Now everything can circle in here, get this Town Hall under control, and that right side of the base still pretty lethal, but if he can avoid that Minion Prince, he's got a solid chance here.
Remember, you don't have to take out the defending heroes. They can stay up and you'll still be able to get a 3-star. Nothing around him, so I don't think he should be able to target. With the King ability still intact, usually it's going to be the Spiky Ball that can skip through the final remaining buildings and defenses. 2 Rocket Loons left. He's continuing to try to push through. The Queen's eventually going to go for the walls. The Healer's pulling some red air bombs. Whoa. Does decide to pop that King's ability, but he does take out that storage, which was clutch.
But watch the Queen. She's breaking through the wall down here. And now the King's going to circle around. Meow's going to get a 3-star, and XIBAI are going to take that early advantage. And this is what all the teams here were afraid of. XIBAI can put up some 3-stars, put that pressure early, and Meow finally gets on the board with a 3-star. All the pressure goes over to RPG.
What is with these matches we're seeing today? 3-stars starting them off. Will we see an answer from Repotted? Because the lead attacker for Repotted most likely will be Leo. Unfortunately, he's been struggling a little bit and even getting the lower percentages into the 80s, low 80s. So if he can start it off with a 3-star for them, that is going to be fantastic. Because we know they're closing attackers, which we have Einstein, General X, and then even Philip have been able to be pulling off those triples. But American also hasn't gotten that done there with a lower percent in the previous match. So I believe Leo's going to be up first for them. So will he be able to pull off a triple to answer that call?
But we've seen a lot of adjustments from these leadoff hitters. I mean, Meow's a perfect example. He made the adjustments, got a 3-star. Pcash on the last war made adjustments, got a 3-star. Let's see if Leo can make the adjustment and get the 3-star. Warden does have that Angry Jelly. Remember, that'll allow him to target only defenses for 35 seconds. Does have the recall. Let's see where he goes in. It's going to be, oh, wait a second. That's Queen with the Angry Jelly, excuse me. Warden with the sneezy there. My mix up there, but same difference. Queen's gonna charge in here, target only defenses for 35 seconds. Recall, it's a safer approach from the RC charge.
Yeah, with some skeleton spells, trying to provide that distraction. Has to go with the invis onto that Queen to help protect her. Another invis back to back. He eventually will push this Queen towards the Clan Castle and may even be able to lure it out. Can he pull out? Can he pull out the full CC so he can deal? Whoa. Okay, does not. So some of the clan castle does remain. One of the nice things is if you can pull the full CC out, you can take it out to the edge and not have to deal with all that damage and getting frozen in the core, typically with ice golems.
And here comes a log launcher trick for REPOTTED Gaming. Throwing that earthquake onto the multi, and the fire spitter will allow that log launcher to take him out. It's going to go ahead and create that pathing with the king on the inside. That'll push the roots down into the middle of the base. One overgrowth should allow him to shut down a section. Yetis do pop out here. They'll finish off that multi-inferno, finish off that battle builder hut, and now everything is all in through here. Where does he use the overgrowth? A little bit later, maybe towards that monolith?
We'll have to see. The log launcher did not open the town hall compartment, but it's okay. The RC pops the warden. They path their way into the town hall, and there are some ice golems coming out of the defending clan castle. The overgrowth was used to the bottom side, which does hit that monolith, so it won't be taking any of that damage while his king stays to the edge of this space and still has the RC ability, the Queen ability, a Rage Invis, and a handful of Super Barbs. It's all about the timing of these spells, as he does decide to use it on the RC so that Rocket Spear shots can get raged up there.
Dealing out even more damage, but look at that long-range multi-gear tower, just dealing so much damage into the base. Yeti's now going to get taken down. Those Yeti mites should pop over and deal some damage, but gets it down to about maybe a third health there. World champion, look how healthy she is on the outside. There goes the King's spiky ball. This is looking really good for Leo. He's made the adjustments, and REPOTTED Gaming get the response they've been looking for.
That is exactly what REPOTTED Gaming needed right there. A clutch answer, and again, previous match had back-to-back triples. This match is having back-to-back triples. The answers across the board. These teams are firing on all cylinders, and that was a fantastic attack. Way to go there, Leo. Now you can switch to try to help your teammates plan and get those spotter calls in. But an impressive answer. 3 stars are not an easy feat to do here in esports mode.
Yeah, it's tough, but we're starting to see as those the pressure gets added, these teams are responding and just making the adjustments they need. We're seeing those scores just rise more and more throughout these wars. XIBAI, can they upset the world champions? That's going to be a big storyline throughout this war. They had the same lineup throughout yesterday. 7 should be the next attacker. I didn't see them changing it up, and yes, 7 is their second attacker. But remember, he had that 1-star, responded with a 3-star. Let's see which 7 we get today. Is it going to be 6? Is it going to be 7? Let's find out, Carbon.
Well, with the 3 Super Yetis, the King has got the Earthquake boots on him, as they're going to potentially... Oh, is it going to be a Warden Fireball? Usually, once that happens,
nice.
Yes, indeed, it is. Earthquakes paired in and create an initial funnel. The healer's onto this Warden to move his way through with that jump, so he can then place, trying to potentially jump toward the town hall, and then earthquake through the core. Let's see, as he's taking his time towards the edge of this base, does not drop that furnace with that warden or anything. The Queen will pull the warden to the right side and up to the top side of this base. Does double wall break up there, so he'll have an easy access into that compartment, trying to set an additional funnel, so we know exactly where these Super Yetis are going to come through.
I wonder if he switches to a log launcher. Almost every Super Yeti attack they ran yesterday went with a log launcher. Right now has that Siege Barrack selected, which will give the additional support of a couple P.E.K.K.A.s and some Wizards out of there, which is an additional force to add in. Is so nice. So far it's not dropped in. There goes that Siege Barrack, electing to get those P.E.K.K.A.s to support this Royal Champion charge.
With that jump now giving him access towards the top and nearly getting that town hall. Out comes the furnace and some ice golems. So he pairs in that poison. The Kings jumped into the town hall compartment. Gonna get slowed down, unfortunately. There is the earthquake boots right through the core of the space. But he won't have access to the backside, but this is where the Royal Champion can be clutch, moving her way through. But he's gonna be patient. Nice skeleton spell to distract quite a bit of the defenses to protect those Super Yetis.
The skeleton spell was on point right there. Look at that King. He doesn't know which way, left, right, up, down. He doesn't know where he's at. Even the Expo, the multi-gear tower, still fighting the skeletons. Meanwhile, the Queen's gonna pop over, take out the multi-gear tower. Now the King gonna go over and fight the Queen, but everything is looking really good for 7 as he still has that Royal Champion's ability with the Hogs to come out yet. this is looking really, really solid. I'm worried about the Giga Bomb, but it's looking really good for 7.
Oh, at least he triggered that tornado trap so the Royal Champion wouldn't get slowed down. She continues to go invisible, and this Warden Rage Gem is clutch, helping the Royal Champion out so much. Even the P.E.K.K.A.s are coming right through. Unfortunately, the Warden does just go down, but that Ricochet Cannon is going to be a big problem. We have the Giga Bomb going off, killing off these hogs, but is it enough? Luckily, the P.E.K.K.A. was taking just enough. Royal Champion!
Here we go. This is the moment. She's got to get through here. The Super Yetis are in there. Royal Champion's going to go down. Super Yetis are there. 30 seconds, though, Carbon. Oh, they're so low on health. They're not going to have enough. It's going to be a fail at 97. Maybe might be able to pick up a little bit. Nah, probably not. 97%. So close to a 3-star, but sometimes those 3 buildings are all you need as a difference maker for the RPG.
And we've seen the 99s, 98s, 97s, and plenty of matches that are the difference in those wars, but still a great percentage if it comes down to a tie on stars. You can win on the percent as that's tiebreaker. Since this is the lower bracket, you cannot afford mistakes. That, in their mind, that would be a mistake because they want those 3 stars. But in the end, it's a great percentage, so yeah, you have the ability to try to win on that condition. And unfortunately, 7 only gets the 97% there 2-star. But now, are we going to see American come in for Repotted Gaming? He did get into the low 80s, or into the 80% in his previous attack, but he's looking to try to turn that one around. And if he's going to fail, it's got to be above the 97 in order to keep that lead.
Yeah, he's kind of been struggling all throughout this Worlds, to be honest. I mean, I don't think he's broke 90% yet, so this is his moment. Hopefully his team, you know, kind of prepped him for this war, kind of got him all psyched up, ready to go, because they need, if he misses, this has got to be a high 90%. They can't afford to fall behind against XIBAI, but realistically, they are aiming for a 3-star here. A 3-star is massive. Battle Blimp is selected right now. He's going to go ahead and throw lightnings and earthquakes, giant arrow to go ahead and take out that Crusher Mortar. But did he clip that Town Hall? It didn't really look like it.
I think really he just wanted to create that initial funnel and he got it. We saw this attack earlier from Philip and it worked, but it can be tricky to line up that Queen's Arrow, but he already pulled that off, so that is fantastic so far. But this Queen looks like she may move her way towards this right side. Does have the recall, so he can pull this Queen out after the Spitter is taken out and could recall her and place her right where he just went so that, okay, no, he decides to stay to the far left. One of the reasons to go over there is because the Spitter is not pointing in that direction. It's pointing the complete opposite way. So why go into the Spitter when you can go from behind it and save all that damage?
Exactly. Negate all that damage on the base. We'll likely see that Battle Blimp, if he stays with it, go right over the top and go to the Town Hall. And here comes that Battle Blimp nice and early on. That way the roots can just stick to the outside of the base. A lot of time with these Root Rider attacks, it's all about creating the pathing around the exterior. You shut down of the middle, whether it's with a Battle Blimp, with an Overgrowth, and then these roots are just able to stick to the tight pack on the outside and deal so much damage, open up the base, and this is why we see success with roots.
And the nice thing about the Yetis here is they're keeping the Ice Golems at bay right next to them, so the poison is working. So these roots and the Queen and Royal Champion to the left won't get stalled up. So I really like the benefit of using the Yetis inside of that blimp, securing quite a bit of value. And look, the Clan Castle is gone, but popping that RC ability, unfortunately, all the Root Riders are gone as well. So it's going to come down to the Overgrowth. Does just place that now, and it's up to the heroes. Can the Warden, with the Royal Champion and the King ability intact, still power through? Oh, the Queen is even actually sneaking behind, grabbing that Clan Castle. She's got the Unicorn, so she can slowly get healed up.
But look at all this damage in this compartment. There's the King, there's the Queen, there's the multi-gear tower, there's the Ricochet cannon. So much defenses. Not to mention the Overgrowth is going to be wearing off any moment. There it is, and more defenses wake up.
And unfortunately, the Queen took too much damage. The Unicorn could not work, so it switches off to the Warden with the healers there. And now here comes the King ability. Spiky Ball moves through. Unfortunately, doesn't move in towards that scatter shot. The Warden steps right into that range, and he went down. The King will try to move his way all the way around. Does not have the Phoenix, so once he goes down, he won't come back to life. And remember, this is where the percentage game comes into play. The 97% from 7 is going to give them the advantage. So this one most likely won't get that high because there's going to be several walls that he would have to fight through and not enough time.
94% looks like the mark unless one of those defenses is low, but I don't think anything's been over there. I don't see a battle builder out. So those are all full health. 94% means that XIBAI now have a 3% advantage moving forward in the war.
That little bit of percentage lead is all you need. They'll take it, but there's plenty of amazing attackers left for both sides. The players to keep your eye on, one is Einstein. He's an amazing fireball attacker, but that can also backfire, as we saw with Navi, where Kazuma had 2 unfortunate fireballs going to the edge of the base. So that is a risky attack. Then, of course, we have General X, who is such an amazing player. He's been coming in with triples, so REPOTTED Gaming has plenty of firepower left in the tank. But can XIBAI pull through and continue to try to add triples of their own as they are getting their final preparations in for this attack? And let's see what the attacker will do. Okay, the defender for REPOTTED is going to be Philip. Neon wants to get this triple for them, and the plan is going to involve the roots as well. But the double lava hounds, we've been seeing some players being used single hounds, which can pull poison spell towers and try to test for those traps. But he's going with the 2-hound approach.
It's a really, really nice approach here. Nian did have some success with this attack yesterday. 1 3-star, 1 2-star. So we know that he can put up a triple in this spot. Here comes some rocket loons down there, just shut down some defenses. He's going to go ahead and just continue to charge forward with this Royal Champion. She's going great. So far, everything is to plan. Getting everything out, weakening those buildings up with the Earthquake. But now she catches a tornado trap. She's spinning around a little bit, but it looks like it's not too trapped right there, actually.
Yeah, the RC's trying to continue her way through. Pops that ability, steps through. Does he want to grab the Town Hall? Maybe. RC does path to the Town Hall next. Goes with Invis. No more Invis at this point. World Champions lost their Spirit Fox. I don't think it's going to be enough to grab the Town Hall. He has to pull that RC just back. And that is where the Tornado Trap played a huge role. Slowed her down. He could have gone that Town Hall if the Tornado Trap was not placed right there for the World Champion.
One more visibility may have been enough to get the Town Hall, but unfortunately, as you mentioned, Carbon, the Tornado, it wasn't really baited with traps, but it was just enough to hold up that Royal Champion charge, help take down that Spirit Fox, and there wasn't enough visibility for the Royal Champion. Now she'll go ahead and swing back through there and get that Town Hall down, but man, look at the damage she's sustaining as well.
And there's the Hound from the top side to pull that poison spell tower so it doesn't get locked to the bottom side of the base, popping the Warden Eternal Tome, continuing his way to the top. And maybe that next Lava Hound will come from the top where that Wizard Tower and Bomb Tower is, all the way to the top right to pull that poison spell tower, but he has to wait as their Root Riders are slowly making their approach.
One thing I really liked about that, not only do they pull that poison tower, but we saw those hounds soaking up so many traps yesterday, especially on this attack where you're trying to keep those healers up as long as possible. That is such a key thing. We'll see if the Hound comes in, probably comes in right after this air defense goes down because he wants to path to that right air defense. But now that Queen, she's under so much pressure right now. Here comes that Hound. It's going to actually go right across the whole base.
Yeah, the Hound's going to fly through towards the top right because maybe to test for the traps for the healers, but then also pulls that poison spell. And the Hound pops, pulling in some red air bombs, air skellies as well. But unfortunately, the multi in the core wipes those healers out, and we have a defense for Philip and REPOTTED Gaming, and the lowest percent so far here, 81, and unfortunately not able to get this. They definitely needed to raise that percentage, but hey, they do have that 97% that did come in, and that is still going to be a high percent from them. But can RPG, can REPOTTED Gaming get their 3 stars? They have such amazing attackers left. But I'm going to be worried about that Warden Fireball. You have to be super careful with where it's going to land and get that value.
And Einstein, who has gone third a lot of the time, he has had those fireball attacks coming in. It's such a risky play, but when it's done well, we've seen Einstein do some of the most beautiful fireball rocket loon attacks. We'll see if that's what he does elect to if he is next. But Nian with the 83% leaves the door wide open for our world champions to walk right on through.
And when you're down on percent, and then if you're down by a star, it almost feels like you're down 2 because of that tie in terms of the percentage tiebreaker. So you really have to hope to get a defense against these next set of attacks. But looks like Einstein is next up for Repotted Gaming. And when it comes to the Warden Fireballs, it's all about multitasking. You don't want to lose that Warden. He's got to charge his way through, and sometimes what he likes to do is even use a handful of balloons. He's got 5 regular balloons over there, so keep your eye on how he wants to use it. Typically, you have the Warden Fireball come through to grab a section of the base, and then you can use those 5 balloons to then try to continue to pull the Warden further left to stay away from where your heroes are going, and that will ensure he stays on his own path and you won't run into a potential time issue.
That's a big issue with these rocket balloon fireball attacks. Time is always a thing. You have to be aware of it. Quick fireball gets that early strike. Now just setting the path. There is a golem in this army comp to help set up for those heroes. But what does he do? Where does he come in with the heroes? Looking at it, no minion prince charges. He's got a standard king and queen setup. A lot still to go on this one, but he's already setting the stage for that flame flinger to come in over on the right.
He did have to use an early freeze onto the defensive minion prince. Definitely did not want to do that. Oh, nice balloon there to test for a seeking air mine. Protects the healers there. Even has the sneezy, which is getting those boogers out in front, which can pull the red air bombs. Another rocket loon off to the top as he's slowly setting this up. But that flame flinger to the bottom side is going to get fantastic value. Nothing is threatening it other than the king, but a furnace does get lured out of the clan castle. Does he see it? He's not dropping the poison just yet, so maybe he doesn't see it. You do not want those furnace mice to jump to the healers, which the warden's taking a lot of damage. He's ready. The warden goes down. You can't afford that in an attack like this.
That is a big blow, but Carbon, the town hall is not dealt with yet, and here come clan castle troops.
Yeah, the CC is coming out to defend this base as the Flame Flinger is still slowly working through the bottom side. But the Royal Champion can be used as insurance to grab the Town Hall at this point. Coin's ability goes off to the right. The King is getting slowed down as he did come back to life with the Phoenix. So now the Phoenix is trying to work through these Skellies and the Ice Golem and Air Skellies, but it won't get much after that. But with 2 Rocket Loons, a Skelly Invis, and a handful of spells, he's got to then save the 2-star and get that Town Hall because there's way too much stuff remaining, especially with no more Warden.
Flame Flinger's still down there, dealing out tons of damage. He's got Yetis in there. He should have a direct path to the Town Hall, but the percentage is going to be super low. We saw 83% was the mark for Nian's attack. Einstein needs to get as close to that as possible, but he really does not have much force to make that happen, especially since the Royal Champion, she's going to have to essentially dive right at the Town Hall. Oh,
wait.
Okay,
Oh.
he can use the Invis to redirect. Okay, I guess after the bow, she'll go right to the Town Hall. I thought he might use an Invis to redirect, but yeah, right after the bow, great use of that Royal Champion.
That was close, a little nerve-wracking there, but the RC steps into the multi, gonna go to the poison spell tower, but he makes it invisible. Unfortunately, he's going for the hero. You don't want it to go for a hero because it won't increase the percentage at all. And the Royal Champion goes down, and it looks to be an answer of an 83. So we had 2 back-to-back. Oh no, just a little bit more. So that means that they'll continue to raise that percentage and raise that lead as they both have 3 stars on each side. And unfortunately, Einstein, he's disappointed. He wanted that Warden to stay alive, and just with it being esports mode, the hardest in the hard mode modifiers, you just lose concentration for a second, and those defenses team up onto any one of your heroes. They go down so quick.
A little bit of positive and negative there, Carbon, because they do gain some percent back on that exchange, but it's only 2%. They were trailing by 3%, which means XIBAI still are winning by 1 building.
Oh, wow.
1% in this war is the lead. But now XIBAI, they control their destiny. 2 triples, and they eliminate the world champion.
Eliminating a world champion just like that, and we would be crowning a new world champion. Well, can General X get the defense for Repotted Gaming, or can Suben get the triple for XIBAI? Let's see what the plan of attack is with the Super Yetis as well, but only 2 of them. And notice, Bash, 4 Ice Golems going to be used here in this attack.
This was kind of like their signature attack that they came in with yesterday.
Oh.
They did have oh my goodness, look at this. Just trying to bait maybe a Royal Champion charge early there to spin her around. But he's actually going to go ahead and just set the stage here for a quick fireball onto the Fire Spitter, get that Crusher Mortar out, even damage onto the Queen. Look at that, the Queen is almost down already.
I would have placed that Warden right there without those Teslas, and he would have been spun around, and then my Fireball would have went all the way to the wrong side of the base. But let's see, as, oh no, if there's 1 red air bomb, there might be more. Gotta drop a balloon. No, there's a second one. Don't lose those healers.
It is very, oh, the Booger catches 1 red air bomb right out in front there. Here comes a wall break. It looks like he's intending to just walk right up in there and cut into this section of the base, which does make a ton of sense. He does have to cut that pathing just a little bit, but the Queen and the Warden, they're walking right here. But look at this, Carbon. It's also going to be that long approach all the way across the base.
He does have that recall, so he can pull the Queen out of this compartment. So typically you'll get the scatter, get this value, and then pull her out and just send her right above. Yep,
good call.
Pretty close to where he was deploying, just so that he stays out of this compartment, because if this Queen is in here and he doesn't pull her back, then she's going to have to unfortunately get stuck on a wall. The minion prince and the other defenses will start to lock onto her, and it would be a huge problem.
Exactly. Great call there. Great play by Suben. But now it's a long trounce literally from the 12 o'clock side of the base. The Town Hall's at 6 o'clock section of the base. He's got to keep all these healers on these troops, on the heroes, and keep everything alive. King and the Royal Champion will be in charge of keeping them in the middle of the base. But remember, we saw some issues with log launchers yesterday, and that log launcher already looks like it's a little bit low. It's got to open 1 more section of walls.
He needs those walls near the Town Hall to open up. Pops the Queen ability. The logs are still going 1 by 1. The final logs coming through, and yes! Opens towards this Town Hall, so he's going to have access to take that down. Royal Champion is making her way to the top, still has her ability. The King, unfortunately, is getting stuck on a wall because the defending Royal Champion is distracting him.
Suben is looking really strong through here. That multi-gear tower, always an intimidating foe. But look at this, he still has the Royal Champion's ability. Not much support aside from that, just a little bit of cleanup. There is a baby dragon. Here comes the Royal Champion ability with those hogs. He's got to get through this multi-gear tower right now.
There is no Spirit Fox remaining onto this Royal Champion. The hogs are trying, but there's probably going to be giant bombs down here. The RC is still not targeted. She's still safe. Can he get through this geared up cannon? He's trying his best.
Go!
Oh, the RC is trying!
Oh!
And down she goes! And unfortunately, with an air defense still remaining, even the baby dragon got picked off before it. But it's percentage. It's still a decent percent at 94. But the attackers left for repotted include General X, who got that triple, even after swagging a Warden Eternal Tome. Then we have Philip, who also got a triple. So they have some amazing attackers left, and this is going to be a difficult spot for XIBAI if they're hoping to try to stop Repotted Gaming.
1 more strike from that Royal Champion, and we could have been looking at a 3-star there, but not quite enough for Suben. Such a close attack, such a nail-biter for XIBAI, who are ahead going into this 4th volley of attacks. Will it be General X up next? It looks to be the case. He is normally in that 4th spot, and it is the one and only captain of Repotted Gaming, General X. What will he bring to the table? And it looks like we're gonna have rocket loons. Look at this invisible. Wait, it's dragons. Excuse me, it's gonna be long RC charge into dragons.
With the angry jelly on the king, so he targets the defenses. There is the wall break. It's gonna open up this compartment. Going to go straight into the queen, take him out, pops the ability with that giant gauntlet, which is going to set the funnel on the right side. He's setting the funnel on the left side, and notice the blimp actually soaked up that Giga Bomb, so the Yetis that came out did not get hit by it, dealing the poison to help take that out, and it's going to directly try to path this Royal Champion towards the Town Hall. Hopefully she doesn't get pulled to the Ice Golems to the left. Oh,
She's good. Oh, wait, watch this blow from the Town Hall. Oh, he's got to be on point on these invises. He's got to be on point on these invises. Or he's going to elect to go right for the Town Hall. Great call there. You don't want to dilly-dally and get taken out. Better to play it safe than sorry in this situation. Now this Royal Champion is going to continue charging to the left side of the base. He does have a ton of rocket loons on this one. He had 11 to begin, still has 10 remaining in his pocket, and it looks like Dragon's just going to deal with these rocket balloons down there in the bottom, and this Royal Champion picks up so much value.
yeah, that Royal Champion was fantastic. We do have the Poison Spell Tower on the right side. Does he try to sneak in one rocket loon over there to try to pull the poison away from his dragons as he goes with an early Warden Eternal Tome to the top? Those rocket loons to the top left are sniping that air defense to try to protect the dragons, but he has the Minion Prince also moving through to the top. And yes, one rocket loon's coming into the poison, pulling it so it doesn't go to the dragons to help protect them.
That's such a good play. We've seen that with Lava Hounds, but being able to use one rocket balloon, 8 housing space to negate that poison spell, that is so massive, and there's really no damage on it. Might actually even be able to get that building down, but in the meantime, his dragons up top are taking so much damage. Strike after strike, he needs to keep these dragons alive. Minion Prince is still in there with ability, and now that scatter shot locking onto the other pack of dragons.
All right, he's got to use these 3 balloons on the Builder Hut near that air defense. He's waiting until everything comes together. There you go. On the Builder Hut's moving into the air defense to snipe that, protecting the dragons. He's moving through, he tested, and now the Minion Prince and dragons are all coming together. He's liking it with the Warden Rage really raging up this Minion Prince, powering through this backside. He's clapping, and the MVP of REPOTTED Gaming stepping up yet again.
Look at that Dark Crown making that Minion Prince attack faster, attack harder, and that's what REPOTTED Gaming, you heard the crowd, MVP, because he is a former Worlds MVP. He knows what it takes to get the job done, and they are back to defend their title, and they are not rolling over for XIBAI.
That is what we were expecting from the captain himself, and the pressure is going to XIBAI here. They must answer the call, but of course we know who the final attacker is. The MVP from 2019, the man who has gotten 2 triples so far. He's 2 for 2, the one and only way. So they get a triple. It's an answer, and then it's gonna put the pressure right on back to Philip that he's gonna have to get it. But let's focus on this attack now. He's been getting the triples with some Super Yetis. Will he continue with a Super Yeti attack, or is he gonna switch it up and try to throw us off?
And it's been like that signature approach that XIBAI kind of came to the table with. And I almost wonder if that's kind of like Wei's go-to attack, and he's kind of taught the guys because he's so good with it. As you mentioned, 2 for 2 thus far with the Super Yetis. And here it is. There's the 2 Super Yetis. He's got this setup here. We'll have to see if there's the Fireball on the Warden. It actually looks like he's going to go with the Queen charge here with the Warden, and then pull them out with that recall, which we've seen them do time and time again here. Looking really good, setting up the pathing here with the Yeti. The crowd is asking for a defense, but let's see what Wei has for him.
With that Queen to the top side, Ice Golem, Warden pushing their way through, and he finds a Spring Trap right off the bat, so the Monolith will not get frozen, but he does get through this Ricochet Cannon. And this Queen is powering right on through towards the Monolith. And look at what he saw. There is a hidden open wall up there. I believe that is right behind that storage, which means that the Queen just stepped into this compartment. I would have completely missed that. Nice identification from Wei as he continues through. Doesn't grab the Wizard Tower, but he'll just probably redeploy the Queen near, maybe to the left, because he does wall break into this compartment here. Baby Dragon further left. Ice Golem's coming down. Super Yetis, and the redeployment of the Warden and Queen.
Straight shot to the Town Hall from here. Here comes that signature log launcher to go right on through the middle, open everything up, and we should see the King and the Royal Champion on the flank to keep everything on track here. Looking like a very nice approach from Wei, and here it comes. Here comes the King, here comes the Royal Champion. This is the way they run this attack, and it's been working so well for them.
Yeah, with that Warden ability now going off to help protect these troops leading towards this Town Hall, which also clips that log launcher, so it can ensure opening up to the Town Hall, giving you access to take that down, as we have, I believe, what was another Super Yeti that did come out of here.
Yes.
As he's trying to continue, I think I saw a Super Velk in there. Yes, a Super Velk went off and died, which means that it drops that rage spell, and the Giant, as they're getting raged up from the spell. But does he have enough? And the Super Yetis all unfortunately went down. The Queen's continuing with this Warden, but does he have enough with the World Champion trying to move through the bottom while the King is trying to provide the tanking?
Einstein's base using the chemistry and melting Wei's troop in the core. This World Champion goes to ability, bringing those Hogs out for some tanking support, but there's not much support left on the base. One freeze, one invis, and it looks like this is going to fall short. I mean, he's still got quite a bit of base here. King is on the outside with these snakes, but I don't think this World Champion, once these Hogs go down, she's going to be targeted by the bow, the multi-arch tower. I don't think she's going to have enough to get through here.
Well, with one freeze and invis, you can never count anything out. He's trying his best.
Oh,
does
good
put
freeze.
a perfect freeze spell right there. Gotta go invis right as it goes off. Invis that Royal Champion. He does.
Nope.
But the Royal Champion goes down just by a few milliseconds late on the deployment of the invis. Wouldn't have been enough. I really don't know. It could have been close, but unfortunately way falls short, and this is only a 2-star, putting them to a total of 11 stars, meaning Philip can completely switch up any of his plans and now go for a 2-star victory.
All he has to do is send right at the Town Hall. Now, the percent game is close, and we did see, I don't want to, bring it back up, but we did see that sketchy situation on a 10th attack where a 1-star did happen. We'll see if Philip is able to secure that 2-star. Any 2-star and REPOTTED Gaming win this war. A lot of pressure on here. Wei should still be very proud of himself with 2 triples in this World's performance. I think if he's maybe just a split second early on that invis, I'm not saying it's enough, but man, it would have been super close, Carbon.
It would have been, and it all comes down to the smallest of details. But XIBAI is all done. They can't do anything but hope and cross their fingers that something goes wrong in Philip's attack. But Philip doesn't even need a certain percentage to think about. Just get those 2-stars. And that is easily enough to move on in the lower bracket, because remember, lower bracket means you don't have a second opportunity. You lose a war down here, you are out of the competition, as we are going to see the Roots 7 Rocket Loons. The Town Hall, it is isolated into the core, so it can be a problem, so you have to be a little bit careful, but look, he does have a blimp selected so far.
And we've seen that a few times throughout the Worlds here, where we just send that safe battle blimp through the middle of the base. And not only is this a safe attack, but it also creates the exact pathing you're looking for with the Roots. The World Champion's going to break out the defenses, break that chain of defenses along the exterior of the base, and then you send that battle blimp through the middle, and you don't really have to worry about overgrowthing that area. You can overgrowth and shut down some of those key defenses. I mean, if we know REPOTTED Gaming, they know they need a 2-star, but this isn't a 3-star attempt.
I mean, absolutely, you always want to try to get a 3-star, but if he does somehow miss the Town Hall, they can still win on a star. But it must be an 89% 1-star for the victory. But of course, just a simple 2-star is enough. Nonetheless, the King is off to the right, trying to move his way through to help grab those defenses and kind of push the Root Riders in towards the geared up cannon, as we have the Queen Royal Champion also moving through as he pulls the Clan Castle out, poisons it up, and there is the blimp. Get ready for this Warden ability, probably just to be safe, protect it, and protect all the other troops.
Here comes the takedown that we need. Battle blimp is in the compartment. It is all looking safe. There's the Town Hall. 3 more percent, 2 more percent, and Philip will advance REPOTTED Gaming. There it is, 2nd star. REPOTTED Gaming staying alive against XIBAI.
The defending world champs are still in the competition. They are not going out without a fight. They want to push through that lower bracket and try to force a bracket reset to try to be crowned back-to-back champions. That is such a difficult thing to do. No one's ever done it. As look at the attack is still pushing through with a minute left. King's got his ability.
Look at him.
You know, he was just.
I told you, Carmen, he's going. I told you he's going for 3. This isn't a safe 2-star approach. This is Phil's plan all along. These guys want to make a statement here. Whoever they have to face next, hey, we're here. We're the world champions. Watch your back.
What a performance. REPOTTED Gaming putting up 13 stars. Pops that King's ability right to the end and taking this one down in style. Congratulations, REPOTTED Gaming. Stay alive in the lower bracket.